Oh, how you doing, everybody? This is Paul. Good morning to you. We have a very rainy morning, very rainy this morning, and we need the rain, and it's good to have it. Just not too much of it, but it's good to have it. We need it, so that's a good thing. Anyways, what I wanted to do is we have a few subscribers now, and what I'm going to start to do is educate you people a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not, look, everybody, like, most of the people will look at me and they'll say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I get it, okay? I get it. Just like Dr. Dog Z there, or whatever his name is, Z-Dog, or whatever it is. Yeah, I get it, okay? But I'm almost 60 years old, folks, and I have a fair amount of historical knowledge. Fair amount, not exceedingly. I would not put my skills up against a lot of people. They're a lot brighter than I am, but I'm bright as well. So what I want to tell you is I want to give you an arrow for your quiver. And that just means, like when you have a bow and arrow, you keep your arrows in a quiver. So you need to have this in your repertoire. And the reason you need to have it is you don't necessarily have to have it, but you have to know about it. This way you won't be a mindless idiot anymore. So why am I a mindless idiot? Because once you know about this, it starts to move around inside of your brain. Now, yeah, doesn't have anything to do with this, but you know what? It's there. Because all of you devoted jabbers out there, this isn't going to make a bit of difference to you. You know why? Because some of you probably know what I'm going to show you. But you cannot draw a correlation to it. So let's take a look. Okay? Because I do try to correlate things when I think that they're correlatable. Now, most of you do not know what a scold's bridle is. And I didn't, not for a long time. Until maybe like a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, I knew about it. I know what they were for, too. They were for women that were a little bit too talky for the time. And they wanted to really make it clear that the community at large wasn't going to put up with it. So what did they do? They made sure that these women couldn't talk. Long and short of it. Would you like to see what a scold's bridle is? By the way, this was for women, possibly, I think the time frame was in the Middle Ages, but it was a little bit later than the Middle Ages. And it's debatable because I'm not sure there's proof, but I think they may have dabbled in this in the colonies, at least slightly. A little bit, maybe not so significantly. But this is important that you know this just because it deals with our situation now or correlates to it, although many people will disagree. That's up to you. Okay. The scold's bridle would be put on women who are just a bit too talky. Maybe they spread gossip. Maybe they talk too much, and that wasn't good. Women at that time probably should have been seen and not really heard that much. I'm not telling you that's my feeling. I'm telling you at the time in areas, and even in certain areas now, women are made to be seen and not heard all that much. Okay, we won't get into it. The other reason would be if they were caught flirting with another man, or what was taken as flirting at the time, they might find themselves in a scold's bridle. Or if there was a more serious offense, like if you were plotting to do something, or fornicating or something like that, you could be put into a scold's bridle. Now, let's go ahead and look at this, and let's look at a scold's bridle. Okay, now I'm on YouTube. Okay, and we're just going to look. As a matter of fact, do you want to see the video? let's just do it, okay? Because I was just going to show you pictures, but really, a video is worth 10,000 words, right? And we'll just make it a short video. I won't give you a 15-minute video. Let's scolds, bridle. Okay, and there you have it. The first one is when I said that it was a device to keep women quiet, it was kind of an understatement. It was really a form of discipline or punishment so that the woman would learn. And I'm not sure if they used them on men or not. I'm really not sure about that. I don't think they did. I think this was to let the women know what their place was in society and to not be too talky. Okay, that's what I think it was. And at the time, there was plenty of that attitude. All right. So this is 3 minutes and 20 seconds. There are others. They were the other word for them were called nag devices. And yeah, that would be the primary way that you would be put into a scold's bridle as a woman, is if you were considered a shrew or a nag. And a nag would be somebody that affected the man's ability to go out and provide for the family. This was taken very seriously. And it, I believe, had to be voted on by the town elders, which of course were men. That's the way you'd have to have it. It had to be men. And maybe some women that fell into the line of the male thinking. Let's just be fair about it, okay? I mean, you have that nowadays too in many different ways and circumstances, depending on where you are on the world. So, I know I'm kind of boring you. I'm not trying to, but there were different sorts of scold's bridles, and some of them, the ones that were the most effective, had a ball. And when you put it over the face, and then when you put it, there was a little ball, and it would go in the mouth. So I mean, if you had to cry for help, you might be able to do that, but you really couldn't do too much in the way of communicating. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at this one right here. And you can see how this played out. Now, this is an actual thing. This is only 1 minute, okay? So let's take a look. Some of them also had spikes to make sure that the women really did understand their, their behavior and would try to correct it.
This is a scold's bridle. It's a bit like a chastity belt. Yeah, it's a kind of an iron cage which was used in Tudor times, particularly in northern towns and western towns. And this fits over your head like this. And this bit goes on top of your tongue.
Yeah. See the ball?
When that goes on your tongue, and you're paraded round in front of your neighbours, not only can you actually physically not speak, but it's a sign to everybody else that you and others like you are to keep your tongue still in the future. This hook goes through here, and
there may be a lock.
We're done.
Yeah.
So how do you feel now? Yeah, well, that's the general idea, I think. So now, with this rope through there, quite literally lead you by the nose. Yeah, it's supposed to happen.
Okay, so that's that video right there. They're just demonstrating, and that's one type of scold's bridle. We'll take a look at this one. Essentially, it was just a device that would discipline you and correct your bad behavior. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. They had various types.
The first use of a scold's bridle was recorded in Scotland in 1500s and eventually spread to England and other European countries like Germany and cities under its influence like Brussels, where this example comes from. The scold's bridle resembles an iron cage and has a padlock in the side in this example, which only the key holder can open
Yeah.
Its design aims to humiliate and cause great discomfort and pain to the wearer. In this particular one, the facial features are exaggerated, with the ears of a donkey and the twisted, cruel-looking horns. Other surviving examples, they would have a bell on top, so they would draw even more attention to the wearer.
Yeah.
The bridle would have been worn for a stated duration, probably several hours, during which time the wearer would not have been able to eat, drink, and most importantly, talk. A metal bead that went into the mouth to hold down the wearer's tongue would also have been a feature. This recalls the metal bead in a horse bridle, which had been used to hold down the animal's tongue, so it would help the rider to exercise control over the animal. But who was a scold? A scold is another name for a shrew, and was used to describe a sharp-tongued, loud woman who gossips and spreads lies. This would usually be an older woman, a widow for example, or a poor woman, one that was especially not under the control of a man. Women accused of witchcraft were also often
witchcraft too.
taken to the device in order to prevent them from chanting and casting spells. Most of the time, though, victims would be nagging wives, and the bridle would be applied at the husband's request.
Well, he had to get permission from the council.
Recorded as criminals and thought to pose a threat to public peace. Incredibly, the crime of being a scold was only abolished from the British Penal Code in 1967. The 16th and 17th centuries, the crime of being a scold, a whore, or a witch were equally grave, and their humiliation provided a form of sexual titillation in contrast to, or maybe exactly because of the important reputation of female modesty. Female speech was commonly described as yapping and barking, and assertive women were accused of being androgynous and freakish. At such a time of prudishness by authorities and popular beliefs, the main goal of the scold's bridle was not to subdue sexual transgressions as much as suppressing women's speech and expression.
Okay, so there you have it. You are now caught up to date on scold's bridles, and there were various types. Now, those of us that know about this, and a lot of us don't. I didn't know about this for a long time, but college-educated people usually know about what a scold's bridle is. And this right here is kind of a form of that. And I'm going to run it down to my thoughts on it. And these are only my thoughts. I'm not representing this as fact in any way. This right here is a control device. What it does is it treats you as you are toxic. So a person that would be going like this would be viewed as toxic, and you do not want the person putting out his or her filth to other people who may be harmed. So the scold's bridle does kind of correlate to these masks, and also the vice versa is true. It is a form of protection so that you don't have to absorb by air someone else's filth. Because as you know, most of you think that you're less filthy than the next person. The other person's more filthy than you, and which is another problem, okay? Another part of the puzzle and what it leads to. But we won't get into that. Now, scold's bridle comes from the horse. Okay, that's how they would get the horses to do what they needed to do. But the other way that you would deal with a mindless horse, just like you would deal with mindless Americans and mindless people in the world right now who don't really have too much on the ball, is you would just simply let them know that there are two forms of motivation. Or to motivate people, you use it to basic ways. It's referred to as the carrot and the stick. Now, the carrot is put in front of a horse to make the horse walk forward. That's one way. That's what you might call passive persuasion. And then you have punishment, actual punishment, like a whip for the horse, so that if the carrot method does not work, then you could always rely on the whipping of the horse in order so that the horse would be compelled to walk. So with this, and not only this, but with all of the different features of what we're going through right now, they do have a form of a carrot, and the carrot is you get to be part of the Borg, as they said in Star Trek, or part of the elite. These elite people who are really, really smart, who know that virtually everybody is toxic, so the more people wear this, the better, because you'll have less people giving toxic fumes out to others. You become part of a family of very concerned people. I keep saying this from my other channel, like the mindless idiot who came over to me and told me to put my mask on when I was talking to a girl 10 feet away from me. And I told him to get lost. So, again, it's becoming part of the club, which will put you in the Milgram experiment. You'll be living through the Milgram experiment, which we'll deal with on the next video. Okay? That's an important one that you need to understand, because most of you don't know what that is. And it's important to know. It's important. Especially at these times right now, because we're living through it. So there you have it. The whip, of course, correlating to the scam. The whip would be the jabbing. You understand? And other things, and punishment, and not being able to fly on airplanes, and not being able to go in and buy food, or not being able to go in and get medicine, and having to seek alternate methods in order to be able to get things like gasoline for your car, or reroute some sort of a trip where you don't have to go onto an airplane. That's part of what you would call the whip. Okay? There you have it. I know it was a little long. Take care. I love you guys. That's why I'm trying to do this. And gals, guys and gals, I know I always add that. Take care. Tune in. Subscribe. And we will be doing it. Watch for my Milgram experiment very shortly. I will put that up here. Bye.